Welcome friends, I'm so glad you're here with me at Steel Roots Market. In today's quick creative session, I'm sharing how I pulled together a heartfelt handmade gift in under an hour. Something extremely simple, yet incredibly special. I just love how this piece turned out. In this part, I'm showing you that I was originally thinking of keeping it very light and fresh, so I thought I would try some of the Cotton Stain by Miss Lillian's. I ended up, after applying, I liked it, but just it wasn't as what I envisioned for this couple. So you're going to see me here in a moment switch it over to a nice light white, soft cream, I would say, chalk paint. I had a bridal shower coming up for a sweet young couple, and I wanted to add a personal touch to the gift I was bringing. So I did what many of us creative souls do. I headed into the studio and grabbed one of my custom MDF surfaces that I offer in the shop and started gathering bits and pieces from my stash of IOD transfers. And later in this video, you're going to see my process of trying to make the difficult decision on which one to use. What I love about having these pieces on hand, the surfaces, the transfer scraps, those molds, having the molds and stamps, is that you can go in and create a wow factor gift on the fly. You know, whether it's a bridal shower, a housewarming, a hostess gift, or you just need a sweet little thinking of you, a handmade touch adds so much meaning, and wait till you see how it turns out in the end. So for this project, like I said, I kept it super simple. I wanted a very light, airy, fresh little gallery wall, which made my heart feel so happy while I was at the bridal shower. She instantly said, adding it to my gallery wall. But I decide, as you see here, I go in with some cream chalk paint. It's a chalk paint by Miss Lillian's, and to bring it back to about how fast this is, chalk paint dries extremely fast on these MDF surfaces, so it's just another bonus to have. So in my head, when I was quickly putting this together, I knew I wanted something, a mix of florals I was thinking, and you have all these little bits and layers that I was thinking of creating something with my transfers, and I just wasn't sure yet. And you'll see at the end, I end up going with one of the bits from the last release by IOD, and it just turned out so cute. And you can see here through this process, this literally took me the longest time. I just could not make my decision. I wasn't sure what they would love the most. I was kind of gearing towards that sunflower for her. And then everything just looks so cute. That's one of my favorite surfaces to use with these pieces. They turn out so beautiful. And I did do a different video here where I layered the frame pieces differently and made it into almost like a raised shadow box effect, which is another neat feature. And but basically I just go through here trying to make a decision on which transfer I thought that the young couple would enjoy. I just loved the roses and just everything. And this is a variety of different transfers from the last couple of releases for IOD. I get my decision all made in the direction I'm going. I do a very quick light sand on all the pieces. You could have come in and done another coat of the white chalk paint if you really wanted that painted perfectly. I kind of thought in my head that they would like the vintage style as well and enjoy that process, that type of finished piece. So I decide next to go ahead and add that next layer of frame onto this surface so that I could get my position correct on the transfer. And now that that's on there and all set, it's time to go ahead and apply the transfer. For those that know, are familiar, this is a really easy step. For those that aren't familiar with IOD transfers, once you remove that backing from the transfer, you have to be careful, make sure you get it positioned to where you want before you actually place it on and push down. But then you just take the applicator tool and rub it all over to get it to the image to release from the carrier sheet. Very simple, very easy. These are so much fun. You can come in and layer additional pieces, which originally in my head was what I was going for, but then once I saw how cute this turned out, and it kind of fit like two little birds, I said, I think that's it. I think that's the way I'm going to keep it. So, very simple, very fun to do. Towards the end here, as you see, I decided to add just a little pop of color, and it was like a very soft vintage color, chalk paint by Miss Lillian's. I believe this one is Patina, the name. And it just gave it a nice touch, especially adding that little top layer of frame. But I wanted to make sure to mention, you could go in so many directions with this. I didn't go with molds or stamps or extra embellishes or extra different glazes or things, but there is so many possibilities for this. Now, in my head, I really wanted to use a high gloss. I've been really attracted to the high gloss finishes lately on these. I feel like it just gives them like a more of a gallery wall, high-end look, but I knew I was kind of limited on time. It was getting close to my time where I needed to wrap things up. So I went with the Pentart, just a regular matte glaze, and it turned out beautiful. The Pentart varnish gloss one has a much longer dry time, I've noticed, for me. So I just applied a matte finish over that transfer, and this is where you definitely could come in and do what would be darling is the vintage distress stamp by IOD to give it a little crackle look. That would have been really cute, but now I just let this sit and dry, and I do decide to add a little bit of, I was looking for my burnt umber wax, and I could not find it. So I end up going with this the gold. And I do not go heavy-handed with this. I just lightly put it around, and I actually come in with a wet wipe, a water-based wet wipe, just to kind of smear it a little bit and even make it even softer. And the reason why I did that, just to kind of give it a finished off look. But again, you could come in and add glazes and all that fun stuff with this. And I did paint the outer edge too on this, as you see here. I just put chalk paint around. And one thing I always like to tell my customers when they're getting these MDF pieces, they are laser cut. So when you're trying to cover them with paint, the laser burn mark will often come through unless you do steps prior to try and get it removed. I don't mind it. It gives it a more natural and finished look. And here you're seeing me painting before. That should have been before, but that's an editing error. But you can see me here and what I mean by the dark burn mark. If you're really careful, you can leave it and then just paint it black. But I like the way the white paint comes through and that burn mark comes through, and it gives it a little bit of a look of finished look for my style. And once it was done, I take this piece and I tuck it into the vintage dough bowl, and I had a few other small gifts, tied it up with some tulle. I went and clipped a few peonies from my garden and then added a handmade card. And that extra special touch turned it into an amazing gift that everyone loved, as you can see there. It's exactly what I had hoped for. This is what I hoped to offer you here at Steel Roots Market, not just supplies, but inspiration and tools to create moments of meaning. My custom cut surfaces are available in my shop, and they're perfect to keep on hand for projects just like this. Thank you so much for watching, and if this has inspired you to start your own quick creative gift, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Be sure to subscribe for more ideas and check out the shop if you're looking for surfaces, transfers, and other beautiful materials to spark your next project. Until next time, stay rooted in grace, charm, and creativity. Thank you.